think is this going, Lockie? Right, everybody, you can all be quiet. I'm going to speak. Well, welcome, everyone. I'm Catherine, Charles's younger sister, as you probably most of you know. And along with my late husband, Brian, straight away, hopeless. We cared for Charles when he developed frontal lobe dementia. It is an insidious disease which we took a long time to come to terms with. Brian became strong. Charles used to dine with us once a week. And one night he got into his car to drive home and he just couldn't drive. It was so sad. Brian, with his wonderful sense of occasion, made it easy. Charles would have hated losing his car. Brian, hello, darling. Brian suggested Charles buy a smaller car. I was absolutely horrified. But when it came to doing just that, Charles himself said he didn't think he'd be... Yes, darling. Told us he didn't think he had the ability to learn to drive a new car. It was a risk worth taking. He made the decision himself. When Charles began to lose the ability to speak, read and write, we realised we had to get more help for him to live independently at Chase Grove. He lived there with good care from Vision West until he was no longer able to safely. He lived in that house longer than I can remember, and the owner of the house told us he was the perfect tenant. He wandered occasionally on one such a Occasionally? Well, it wasn't too many times. He never got lost. And on one occasion he walked the police home. He certainly knew where he lived. When Charles lost this ability to communicate, we thought he'd become frustrated, but no, he accepted his lot with quiet dignity. Only once did he say to me how sad he was to lose his car and how frustrating his life was. He never complained, got angry, or asked for any favours. He was quite remarkable. Sorry. I'll have a drink. Perhaps I need a wine. There's my wine. Behind you, Jane. Thank you, darling. Thank you. I do have a hanky. I've just got to get it out of my pocket. I might get undressed. Charles was born in 1946. First born after World War II in our family of 5 siblings. He was a shy, quiet, gentle boy. This is hopeless. Who became a hard-working, kind, gentle man with a unique sense of humour. He never liked to upset or hurt anyone. In return, he was treated with great respect from the people he worked for, his friends and family. His friends have been amazing. Oh God, I've spilled drunk on this already. His friends have been amazing. Thank you all for your loyalty, kindness and support. So appreciated. I couldn't have coped without you. Glen York particularly has been just wonderful. Playing golf until Charles could no longer do so. The walks, drives, cups of coffee, and especially bringing him here for a beer. The few occasions we joined you were fun, with your wife Wendy and Charles's close friend Brian Tetley. Glen, where are you?
How are you?
Glen. You charmed and were admired by all staff at Liston Heights, with your constant support of Charles. Hanging pictures, making sure the TV worked, but most importantly, the beers you made sure were in constant supply. You brought light into Charles's life. Your kindness and support have at times left me speechless, and I mean that. You became a rock to us both. I do not have the words to express my gratitude. Thank you so, so much. Others I know have cared for Charles immensely. Those who worked alongside him. One couple he worked for as an commissioned agent for 31 years. Those who visited him at his home and at Liston Heights. Not easy when communication is difficult. The special man who sat with him at mealtimes. And those who just sat with him in those final days. Thank you all. I'd like to say a special thank you to Jade, her husband Daniel, and their 2 children, Isabel and Thomas. I called, you came. Isabel and Thomas just enjoyed their great hug with Charles's company. I should have put my glasses on. Ems, you couldn't do, where are you? Oh, there you are. Ems, you couldn't do much from Invercargill, but the phone calls were just what I wanted, just what I needed. Thank you, darling. Last but certainly not least, Robert, my son. You spent Charles's last few days with me. It was a difficult time, but you were always just there. Thank you so, so much. You all gave me the support your father would have been so, so proud of. I still miss the bugger, you know. Never mind. The lunch we held for Charles' 76th birthday just a couple of weeks before he died was so memorable. The last time 5 siblings were together, along with many of his friends. Charles's eyes would well with tears when people spoke to him. I like to think he understood us to the end. Charles spent the last few days of his life in a coma in Taupo Hospital. The care he had was unbelievable. He was treated with compassion and dignity he deserved. One day I had to rush out and buy him some deodorant. That really puzzled me. Amusingly, the staff thought Charles was my husband. Humour was never far away. Charles is now at peace. Robert and I were with him at the end. Robert had smuggled in some drinks, and we felt like naughty school children when caught. We were toasting Charles's life when he took his final breath. It was so, so peaceful and special. Farewell, Charles. You have made many lives people better for knowing you. You were one of a kind. We're now going to celebrate your life. I think I've started already, actually. If anyone would like to say a few words, please do so. Also, there is food and drinks available back at 55 Martpa Road, and you're all welcome when this function has come to an end. Thank you. That's enough from me. For God's sake, Catherine, you're hopeless. Absolutely hopeless. God's sake. I think I'll have a big glass of wine now.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Wow, what happened there?
You don't have to move it.
No, I didn't mean to.
I forgot to tell them off, sorry.
That's all right, that's all right. Everybody, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Charles's other sibling here. My name's Duncan, and I'm pleased to see there's another Duncan here somewhere. We're few and far, 3 Duncans, oh my goodness. We're few and far between. Look, I'd just like to give you just a few memories I have of Charles, which I think are something that mean a lot to me. And the first of those is that Charles was a great reader, and I remember him as a younger brother, watching him read the newspaper in the mornings. And I said to him, I always thought people read headlines in newspapers, and I said to Charles, are you reading every article in the paper? And he looked at me and said, yeah, I do that every day. He read every article in the morning paper, and he prolifically read books and magazines, and it's just a memory I have of him. And the other thing he did was that he taught me a few things in life, not the sort of life things you might be thinking of, but for example, he taught me how to play chess. And I suspect he wanted someone to play chess with, which was the reason he taught me how to play it. And in the whole time I played it, I think I probably beat him about once or twice. You know, he was actually a very good chess player. But the one thing he really loved was his photography, and he has had cameras from his early teenage years, and while the rest of us took quick snaps, Charles prided himself in taking what he called good photographs, and that carried on throughout his whole life into his printing business here and everything. So there's a few things there that I remember of Charles, but the last is his love of cricket. He absolutely adored the game, and in a time when cricket, to be honest, was pretty boring to watch. I mean, it wasn't. There was no one-day cricket. There was no real excitement to it unless you're a cricket connoisseur. But nevertheless, he used to love it, and he visited us when we lived in Melbourne, and I think it was the first time he went overseas. And I took him to watch. It wasn't New Zealand playing Australia, and New Zealand was very good in those days. In fact, we'd beaten Australia in a Test series the previous year, but it was the next best thing, which was England playing Australia. And for those of you who haven't seen a cricket match with a large crowd, to go to the MCG with 80,000 people plus watching cricket is like a spectacle that you would not believe. And for Charles, it was like the ultimate. He just enjoyed it so much. Excuse me. Anyway, in his future years, he carried on with his photography, and we had children, and he absolutely adored all his nieces and nephews. And when he visited us, the highlight for our kids was that he always gave them puzzles. He had a massive number of puzzles that he used to sell, and you would remember that. And every Christmas they got these fantastic puzzles, and that I'll remember him for. But probably the one thing to finish that I would say about Charles is that, and it's a memory I'll always have, is that Charles never got angry with anyone in his whole life, as far as I could see. And that is to me is amazing. I mean, people naturally get angry about things, and yet I can't remember Charles ever being angry. So that's my memory of Charles, and I thought it was worth sharing it with you.
Thank you very much.
I won't take it off. Hello everyone, I'm Glenn, Charles' golfing buddy if you like. And this is our 19th hole that we used to regularly come to, or really our 10th hole. We never actually played 18. But anyway, I met Charles through being in the same office building as him back in 1996 when my son over there was born. Jay was born. I ended up jumping into the office with Wendy over there, my wife, to do some mortgage brokering stuff, and Charles used to walk past probably once a week or once a fortnight, going to his office down the back room and just wave and smile, and got to know him eventually through Catherine's husband Brian. Brian had the office opposite ours, and he was running Spices, and Brian was obviously Charles' best mate as well at the time, and Brian wanted to formally introduce me to Charles, and long story short, we got to know each other over a few drinks, and I remember one day he sort of said to me that he was in a bit of a panic. He couldn't get the keys out of a car. They locked in a car. It was at your mum's house, or I can't remember the type of car, but he was singing, sorry? Triumph. That's right, yeah. Anyway, I said, oh, look, I might be able to help you there. So I got a coat hanger and went and got the keys out for him. And just had a bit of experience with locking my own keys in the car.
Obviously experience. Oh, you weren't into stealing
I lock my own keys in the car occasionally. Yeah.
You weren't into stealing cars?
No. Shh. Never. But anyway, yeah, Brian introduced us together, and so long story short, I asked Charles if he wanted to join us for a game of golf one day, and it was great that he did join us because no longer I was the loser all the time. So I invited him more often, and he ended up buying his own golf clubs, and we made it a regular thing every Friday and sometimes Sundays if the weather was right. So yeah, so that's how I met old Charlie, and sad that he's gone. I just have to improve my golf so that I've got someone to beat. And yeah, that's all for me, and yeah.
I had no intention of getting up and speaking, but because I'm the Cuzzy bro, the only Cuzzy bro here, I think, on the Cox side of the family, I thought I should say something. Oh, I've got the fancy thing. Okay. Oh. Do I have to have that bit on it? Okay, right, don't move. Kathy, we didn't really know the Cox family because we lived in Auckland, and Dad was the eldest of the three boys, and the rest of them lived in Christchurch. So how I met this family was I went to Dunedin and I hitchhiked up to Christchurch, and Dad said, look, go and visit the Ken Coxes. They'll be really nice to you. So 61 Russell Street, and in those days the ferry went from Littleton. So I hitchhiked up. Well, Kathy's father was horrified, and he said, how'd you get here? I said, I hitchhiked. Right, I'm ringing Duncan. So he rang up Duncan, who was my father and the eldest of the family, and said, your daughter's hitchhiked up from Dunedin, Duncan. What are you going to do about it? And he said, well, I've got two daughters over in England with rings on their fingers, chicken rings on their fingers to say they're married, and they're hitchhiking around Europe. So I just don't think I've got anything to say. And then the years moved on, and they came up here. And that's